Hey, I'm Roger Parent, aka Chief Marketing Dad. So why outsource your digital marketing? A lot of people are afraid to do this. There's sort of this like in-house versus external debate happening. Here's where I land on this. Sometimes having in-house team makes a lot of sense. If you're like a really designer brand where the marketing team really needs to understand and feel the product, sometimes it makes sense to have in-house employees sort of managing that marketing process. But I would say most of the time, I mean 90% of the time, I would say, there are functions that can always be done externally. For example, managing PPC ads or paid social media or email marketing, those types of things can be done externally most of the time. But with one caveat, you need to have someone in your company that deeply understands the brand. I believe this role should be in-house. Some sort of brand, head of brand manager, or maybe in a smaller business, it's just the CEO that really gets their brand. Because external agencies are going to place ads better than you. They're going to optimize your website better than you possibly could, especially most in-house roles. They will crush these people in expertise. Because when you bring in an agency, you're typically bringing in people with experience. And even if that person that you're working with doesn't have a ton of experience, like the account lead, the process that they're operating has a ton of experience behind it. And so chances are your in-house team does not know PPC ads like that agency does. They don't even have the access to the reps and other things like that agency does. Think about it. If you work with, like, let's say 50 different companies about all doing PPC, and you have a team of people that lives and breathe PPC, then you're going to be better than the in-house role who's jumping between meetings, but sort of doing PPC on the side for only one brand. They don't see patterns across brands. They don't see market insights and trends. They don't see macroeconomic understanding of like what's happening with the tool. So I think that you want to bring in external partners most of the time because they just have better experience, but they lack an understanding of the brand a lot. So sometimes they may put out creative or copywriting that isn't on brand for you. So having someone internally that can either steer these partners when it comes to creating assets for ads and things and copywriting is very important, or having those roles in-house, like being able to provide the agencies with, here's some ad assets you can run, getting feedback from the agency, like, hey, that hook needs to be swapped out, or this needs to be changed, or this ad is working and this one isn't. But if you can create those assets and that copy, then I think that's a really good marriage by allowing the agencies to bring their expertise to the fold. So yeah, I would say it's not one or the other. It's a very specific circumstance. Like when I come into certain brands, there's some times where I'll say, oh, you really need to hire external partners here, or we really need to bring this in-house, this element in-house or that element in-house. But it's mostly, almost always, a combination of internal and external, not one or the other.